Welcome to MYLF Talk, Make Your Life Fabulous. I'm Sophie Venable, author, life coach, mother of two, and whether you're married with children, single, divorced, poly, or somehow all of the above, I am talking to you about life, relationships, dating, and sex.
Sexy
time. That's the only reason Todd shows up, is he's just here to talk about some sexy time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my favorite actor and yours, Todd Robert Anderson.
Hello.
Just messing with you. All right, I can't get rid of the choir. Go home, go home, go home. Go home. Okay, there you go.
Oh, that was lovely.
Okay. I just wanted to make you feel a little bit spiritual this morning.
I felt angelic.
Yeah, Do you hear me, El Torito? Send me some money for plugging your Taco Tuesday, please. Or tacos. Just send me tacos and I'd be totally happy. I'm good. I will work for tacos.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love tacos.
So I guess I'm supposed to talk about my book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm really bad at self-promotion.
Yeah, you sound reticent. I
guess I should talk about my book. Dating. You have to put in intentional dating, Sophie Venable, because apparently other people have used this title, but whatever.
Oh.
My book is better.
Yeah. All the other intentional dating
whatever.
sucks.
They're like unintentional. No, I don't know. So we have to talk about what intentional dating means. Do you mind?
No.
No? Okay. Good. Thanks for being here, Todd. Yeah. So what this book is almost more like a workbook, there's a lot of personal work in it. It is written for hetero females. That's the point of view. I had to pick a point of view.
Yeah. And
however, I would say probably 80% of it would be really applicable to just about anybody wanting to have a healthier, more authentic, more loving relationship that's more gratifying. And to, if you're on the dating scene, because a lot of it is work on yourself, right? Mm-hmm. A couple weeks ago, we talked about what default dating is, which is kind of what everybody does, which is sort of you meet somebody and then you kind of try to make it work, right? And you keep filling in the blanks. And you really don't know somebody for 3 or 4 months. Even if you're sleeping with them, you have to kind of consider them a stranger to a certain degree, because you don't really know who and how they are in the world, right, and who and how they are in relationship. And so because the physical intimacy of sleeping together creates an illusion of emotional intimacy, we think we know someone. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is that attachment and that momentum really takes hold, and we start ignoring really important things. Like you might have a little argument about, I don't know, leaving the keys in the car or something like that. Or there might be a disappointment, that we're late or this or that, or, or maybe somebody, couldn't do something really important for you because they weren't feeling well. And so you get into a little, maybe one of your first little tiffs, and maybe the way they handle it is really unacceptable and painful for you. And you just go, okay, never mind. And you just kind of brush that under the rug. And what starts to happen is then you go, I just have to avoid fights.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. And so we then create more fear than love, essentially, in the relationship. And the next thing you know, you're 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the line, and you're like, this person's an asshole, you know? and you're so upset that they're an asshole. You're so disappointed. You're so how could you have turned out to be this way? When in fact, you had signals. Usually when I ask and I say, when was the first time you saw something like this? It's between 3 and 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And if we were more willing to cut our losses and get very clear about what we wanted, and to become intentional about it, meaning you're really clear about what you want and you believe that you can have it, and you maintain that standard within relationship. You don't just keep going, well, yeah, I know what I want, but then you lower the bar. And people say, my bar is high. And I'm like, yeah, but you always lower it, so therefore it's not high.
Right.
It doesn't stay high. That's kind of the self-love thing we were talking about, right? It's you have to put that self-love into practice. Right. You're like, I know I'm bomb, I know I'm a cat, but then you get into relationship and suddenly you're pretzeling for the person that you're with and operating at a whole different level of what doesn't seem like self-care or self-love, right? Or valuing yourself and your needs in relationship. So default dating is just that habit of trying to make it work with whomever instead of being really intentional and maintaining that intentionality and that belief. Because every time you say, no, I'm not going to put up with that shit, I want this, and you actually end that, you close that door and you open this door, that gets you closer to it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, where do we find these guys?
Right.
And I'm like, you didn't really pay me as a coach to give you a list of places to go find men, right? Like, because you can Google that shit, like
right.
top 10 places to meet men in the San Fernando Valley, as if all the good men are like standing at one bar or like in a closet somewhere. It makes me think about George Clooney and Julia Roberts were in an interview once, and they were like, we're wondering where all the good scripts are. Like there's a secret closet someplace with like a pile of good scripts. And it's like, no, they're kind of peppered in everywhere. And you have to kind of be on the right vibration to like bring that into your world.
Right. The concept of good men. I mean, there's men who are good for you.
Exactly.
And men who are not. It doesn't mean they're all uniformly monsters elsewhere.
That's.
I mean, I know men are awful.
Women can be awful too.
Yeah.
Women can be wicked.
Not,
you know, I mean, like everybody. Like there's good and well-meaning people, and there's really wounded people who don't know how to be good and well-meaning. Mm-hmm. And so there's this generalization that we do, this sort of like awfulizing that we do, based on everybody's an asshole when they're in the wrong relationship. Mm-hmm. Okay, nobody is their best person in the wrong relationship. And so you can now effectively, like if you really believe, if you really understand what I just said, everybody's an asshole in the wrong relationship, okay? You can now effectively go, oh, those were all the wrong relationship. It's irrelevant. It wasn't the right relationship. So we don't need to take those 2 or 3 guys and now define an entire gender based on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the story that creates default dating.